Hey, what's up guys, it is Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So today is Tuesday, and due to special requests, this week is going to be full of my tiers. So I'm going to be using the tier maker app based on SoulCalibur, and today is going to be based on the games. I'm going to be ranking the SoulCalibur games, including the spin-offs, in tiers, and then I'm also going to be comparing the communities at the end. Not my community, but the overall tier maker community. For people who have made them, they aggregate all of the votes, and they, I guess, put them together in their own tier list to show what everybody else thinks besides you. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. I encourage you to go to the site and make your own if you want, or you can drop in the comment section down below how you would tier these games yourselves. Obviously, I expect all of ours to be different, and I don't think mine is the end-all be-all by any means. A lot of this has to do with nostalgia and just things I was going through at current times of playthrough and amount of time I've spent with certain games. So, with that being said, we're going to jump right in, guys, and we're going to start the video. So, like I said, I went to tiermaker.com, and I created my own tier list. I didn't customize any of the tiers. I just went from S to F, S to E, and fair warning, I didn't put anything in E, but I also was doing this on my phone. Tomorrow's character tier list is a lot more involved, so I'm going to be recording that on my actual iPad, so we have more room to work with. So if you see me putting things initially, like this SoulCalibur Unbreakable Souls, if you see me putting things in the D or the E, it's not going to stay there. It's just so I can move the screen up while I'm working with it. So here we have us tapping just to get started, and I automatically allocated SoulCalibur Unbreakable Soul to D because I never played it. The iOS only game that now is done. I have played Lost Swords a little bit, however, and I'm not confident this is going to stay in the D category. But I mean, while the gameplay was kind of good and it implemented some new things that broke it apart from the game, overall, I think SoulCalibur Lost Swords was pretty disappointing, which is probably why it failed. SoulCalibur 5, I think I'm confident with it being in C. I would even maybe say B, but most likely C just because of the lack of modes and stuff like that. Broken Destiny is actually a really good game. Like, I actually like it, especially having it on the go on the PSP. We don't even have any SoulCalibur games on the Switch, which is why I would like to see the HD version of 2 port over, or make an HD version of 3, or even just make a collection. I put Legends up next to Broken Destiny just because I like the playstyle of how it was like Tekken Force mode, kind of. Just because of the gameplay, and there's also hidden lore in that game, so that was really exciting to actually go through and figure out the hidden lore stuff in that game. I kind of recommend playing it if you have a Wii. It wasn't bad. I think it was a pretty good game. For me, SoulCalibur 4 is on the same tier as SoulCalibur 5. I know it's a little bit better in certain aspects. I would argue even graphically. It was a weird game to me, and a lot, like, I do like it more than SoulCalibur 5, but I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so having that stuff, clog up the game, to me was a little unnecessary, even though I know that they needed it to make the actual game itself. Now, Soul Edge is a toughie, because I like Soul Edge, but this is based on mostly nostalgia, so I would say it is co-equal to SoulCalibur itself, but there's some actual, like, lore building in Soul Edge, and things they've done differently and dealt with characters differently, because it's the first iteration of the game and it was the arcade version. So I do like it a lot. I think I would put it up there with SoulCalibur. I definitely like it better than 4 and 5, that's for sure. 6 is a weird one for me. I have it right now in B tier, but I may move that up to A tier. I'm not sure. SoulCalibur 6 has become my second favorite, only because of a lot of the stuff that they added, like the game the way it is now, not at launch. So with Libra of Souls mode and stuff like that, a lot of like more fun that I've gotten out of the gameplay itself. I think it deserves to be a little bit higher now. SoulCalibur 2 obviously is going to be at the top of the list. It's a great game. This is I'm not sure if this is regular SoulCalibur 2 or the HD remake. We can say both. We'll just say the HD remake. Actually, we'll just say both, because it depends on which version of the character you had. you guys know for me, SoulCalibur 3 is the top. It's the top of the food chain. I know it was version exclusive, so not as many people got their hands on it, but it introduced character creator in a big and good way. We had Chronicles of the Sword, which highly implemented it, and there was just, I can go on and on and on forever about SoulCalibur 3, which I might make a video on the games separately, individually in the future. SoulCalibur Legends, again, not a bad game, but I don't know. So here I'm second guessing myself, and I'm actually going to put SoulCalibur onto B tier because I think Soul Edge and SoulCalibur 2 are better than SoulCalibur itself, and a lot of people would put SoulCalibur 2 at the S tier. I think SoulCalibur 3 is a superior game. It's a superior product. It's got I would say better overall everything, especially single player experience. They enhanced the engine, like everything is like better. I mean, it basically comes down to if you're a version exclusive, because a lot of people only singularly played SoulCalibur 2. So obviously, if you were a Nintendo guy and you only had Link, that's gonna be your number one, especially if you couldn't play SoulCalibur 3. But like I said again, guys, this is my personal list, so I don't expect it to mirror yours. If it does, that's cool. But if not, this is just like my opinionated part of it. And that was my tier list. So now I want to show on screen the community tier list that they actually created or aggregated themselves. And we're going to go over this a little bit. So starting from S tier, the community had SoulCalibur 2 as S, which is expected because a lot of people think that SoulCalibur 2 is the best version of the game. Like I said, personally, I think it's SoulCalibur 3, but SoulCalibur 2 seems to have taken the cake out of the community at least, because a lot of people didn't play 3 that only had version exclusives. Like if you only had an Xbox or you only had a GameCube, you weren't playing a SoulCalibur 3, even though I think that's a little bit of a light excuse because PlayStation 2 was the highest moving, top selling like console of all time. Still hasn't been beaten to this day, so I think that that's kind of a lighthearted excuse because people probably had it. But we come down here to A tier and we see that they have SoulCalibur 3, SoulCalibur, and SoulCalibur 6. That's not actually bad. I would kind of agree with that, though I would probably put Soul Edge above SoulCalibur because you guys saw my list. But for B, they have Soul Edge, SoulCalibur 5, and SoulCalibur 4. Highly disagree with that. Like, SoulCalibur 5 and SoulCalibur 4 don't belong in B tier. They at least need to be in C, just because of the lack of features in those games. C, they have SoulCalibur Broken Destiny. I think Broken Destiny was actually a complete experience, so I don't agree with that. D here, they have nothing, and we can see where their objective opinions come into play. Because in E tier, we have SoulCalibur Legends, SoulCalibur Unbreakable Soul, and SoulCalibur Lost Swords, which are all the spin-off games, so that means that maybe a lot of people didn't actually even play them. I know Unbreakable Soul is like a good reason to not play because it was only iOS exclusive, and it was a short launch, and not many people even played it. Legends is actually kind of decent if you get down to it, so I don't know why that's down there. And also Lost Swords was fun for a free-to-play game while it lasted. It's not like we had to pay money for it, so I don't see why that's all the way down there. But that's their list. So I gave you my tier, I gave you their tier, and now I want to know your tier. So in the comment section down below, give me your tier list. You can do it from S through E, or you can just do your top 3, whatever you want to do. Let's get a conversation started down there and compare and contrast and see if the community poll on their site on TierMaker actually reflects the community of my community. And if that being said, guys, tomorrow look forward to the character tier list. It's going to cover all of the characters in SoulCalibur, including bonus characters and whatnot, which we all know who's going to be S tier automatically. But the following day on Thursday, we're going to be doing the modes tier list. And on Friday, we're going to have our community video, and that's going to take one of the videos from today, and it's going to show the comments from that. So I'm going to pick it randomly, so just try to comment on all of them if you can, and we'll see what we come up with then. Alright guys, as always, peace.